Welcome everybody to the start of the Dota 2 Asia Championship, Asia Qualifiers. It's CDEC versus TongFu. We've got 16 teams competing in a big old BO2 round robin here in the Asia division, and boy is it going to get messy. We've got CDEC versus TongFu to start things off. There's 4 games going on at once, 5 time slots today, so 20 BO2s today, 20 tomorrow, 20 the day after, and so on and so forth. It's 6 days straight of non-stop Dota 2 action just for Asia. And while that's going on, you've got your Europe qualifier, your America qualifier is complete, but there's a lot of happening here. You've got teams from China, the non-invited teams, so teams like HGT, teams like CDEC, teams like Burning's Big God team, plenty more. You can check out the list on the DAC website or the GoToGamers official coverage portal. And then you've got your top SEA teams, your Invasion Esports, your Mineski, your Myth Trust, your CSW, teams such as those. But right now, guys, let's just talk Dota. Let's talk this BO3 series. CDEC versus TongFu. CDEC just getting back from America. These guys made it to the D2L LAN finals. Unfortunately for them, did not really do all too well there. And as a result, well, maybe coming back a bit demoralized. They got 4th place out of 4 teams, although just getting to the LAN finals was definitely an accomplishment, qualifying over teams such as LGD, such as VG Gaming. And it does at least give them a little bit of a boost to their confidence. And they've been playing well in other tournaments, causing some big upsets. They got 2nd in G League, losing out to LGD. So I definitely look towards this team as a team with a lot of promise, and one of probably the favorites to get into the main event. The way it works is the top 4 from this Asia qualifier out of the 16 teams gets right into the main event. 5th and 6th place, those 2 teams will be playing in the wildcard matches. So they'll join 2nd and 3rd from Europe, as well as 2 teams from the kind of amateur Chinese league that I believe have already been decided for the Dota 2 Asia Championship. So we'll get things underway here. It is going to be CDEC playing over on the Dire side up against TongFu on the Radiant. And it is going to be Q in the drafting seat taking on LPC. We'll see CDEC. Well, this is a top common pick in the Eastern scene. It is the Ember Spirit opening. They get it with the Tidehunter. As for TongFu, the Vengeful Spirit plus Viper. A lot of Viper also picked over in the Eastern scene as well. So we'll see how these teams look to make some of these drafts work here. Viper typically run in the mid lane, and also picked quite a bit against this Ember Spirit. It does kind of often, I think the normal response to this is Ember Spirit ends up going safe lane as opposed to the mid, because you don't really want the Ember Spirit versus the Viper mid because he gets out lane so bad. And even though that means Ember Spirit will still do okay, still get farm, I think teams are probably a little more worried about the mid Ember Spirit. He's so good with solo XP, getting the fast level 6, he's so good at controlling runes, and if you go for runes against an Ember Spirit and he has supports nearby, it's almost a guaranteed kill once Ember's level 6, because he has that gap closer with the Fire Remnant, he's got the support backup, and that's where I think the mid Ember Spirit is generally more scary. The hero still is picked because he's versatile and can be run in the safe lane. I've seen, I think it was VG Gaming, even run him in the off lane in a dual lane, so he does have that versatility, and that's what you have to kind of fall back on. When you see this Viper pick, it's like, okay, let's go to plan B. We're not putting him mid. We need a hero that can match up a bit better against the Viper in the mid lane, something that can just kind of sit back and spam their farm, whatever it may be. So we'll see what the plan's going to be. For those of you wondering, there are other streams going on. So we've got 3 other streams actually happening right now, I believe. I'm casting CDEC vs TongFu here over on BTS2. eHome, Mushi, and Ohio, the SEA, going to join up with their Chinese brethren. Going to be taking on Aces, the Vietnamese team. That's being cast by Lysander. Over on BTS3, Zyclops is going to be casting Invasion, taking on Big God, which I believe is Burning's team. I'm not sure if Burning's playing, but the likes of Burning, Zhao8, Lamb, and a few other names there. Ice as well as not Ice, just Double Ice, as well as PC Cold officially on the roster, but who knows as to who's playing that. That team seems to use different players every other week, and there doesn't seem to be any real consistency there. And then Lie Gaming versus Speed Gaming is the 4th match, which is being... Actually, no, Baseskip's going to be joining later on. He's going to start off with DG, Dream Gaming versus IMG, which I believe is not till a bit later, maybe? Not entirely sure there. Mexi, maybe it's one of these opening... I'm not sure, but check out Baseskip's stream as well. I believe he's going to be doing some streaming, and it sounds like his stream may be the 4th stream going on now. But it is going to be a Wisp picked up for CDEC, and TongFu, on the other hand, have gone for a Jakiro as their 3rd pick, so a bit of a... Speaking of versatility, here we sometimes see in the offlane, sometimes as a support, so something that can kind of fit into both roles there. And so we'll see what CDEC look to pair their Wisp with. That's going to be this pick here, or I think a Wisp dual lane mid is a nice kind of way of at least dealing with a Viper. You're not going to beat the Viper. In some ways, Viper can actually still farm pretty nicely there, but it just does give you that kind of good, at least aggressive potential in the early levels, especially before Viper gets too tanky and too many points in corrosive skin. But the Venomancer, interesting one, because normally this hero is run as a core, especially in the mid lane, and we could see that poison on poison matchup. The Veno taking on the Viper. God, that lane just smell like it just spells Snoozeville. Like it's both just kind of looking to farm, sit back. Unlikely you see too many kills there unless there's some heavy support rotations. So let's see what that would be. And TongFu now, 4th pick coming their way, and we'll see what they have in mind for their 4th pick here. Game 1 of a best of 2 series. So the way this works is they're all BO2s. No BO3s. There could be a draw. I think each win is worth the same. Whether you like 2 draws is as good as a win and a loss. I don't think there's any. You get 3 points for a win and 1 point for a draw. I've asked the DAC admins. I haven't actually received official reply confirming that, but that was definitely what the website led me on to believe. So it's just a straight kind of. It's like a round robin more so than you're looking. Each game is looked at as like an individual game rather than like a BO2 series. But Axe picked up for TongFu now as their 4th pick. So, does suggest a Jakiro support. I don't think you want to be running the Axe as a core and have Viper as your only real DPS here. So, some kind of last pick carry type hero for TongFu. Maybe the Axe, a pretty strong offlaner, especially if you put him like an Axe Jakiro dual lane. You can run the Venge in the safe lane with a +1. That's kind of where I'd be looking to head if I'm TongFu here. And it seems the Storm Spirit span suggests CDEC are anticipating one more core hero to come their way. So, we'll see what the plan's going to be here. Last band's coming out. TongFu, what are they thinking? Maybe ban a Wisp partner, but at the same time, depends where they think the Veno's going. If they're expecting the Veno mid, then they're saying, okay, CDEC has their 3 core heroes, Veno, Titan, Ember Spirit. It just feels like there's not enough damage. There's not enough. Well, Veno with items and farm definitely does damage, but there's not enough carry and late game potential there. Ember Spirit himself, I would consider a decent late game carry, but not an overwhelmingly powerful one. I feel like that definitely puts CDEC kind of, to some extent, like on a timeline to end the game fast, but then you look at TongFu, they haven't got insane late game either. So I guess you could look at, they may look at TongFu and say, all right, they've got an Axe, they've got the Viper, they're not looking to go late game. We can also get away with not picking a late game carry perhaps. So we'll see what they have in mind here. CDEC, going to see most likely the maybe Ember Spirit. Definitely the big star of this team, although it is a well-rounded team. And also, actually, CDEC, just noticed, they're playing with their coach. Mikasa is standing in for them. So this guy moved on with the team as coach. He was the newbie coach who led newbie to TI4 victory. And he's been coaching CDEC, which is definitely a big reason to their success over the last few months. And here he is standing in, a very, not so much accomplished player, but a very good player. High skilled. He's stood in for a lot of teams in big matches and helped them win games. I think it was during newbie's time where like Hao or Mu would be missing and he'd go mid on TA and just wreck face. So definitely not like a case where you see someone standing in for a team, you're like, oh, this is a worry. They've got their manager standing in, or they've got this lesser known player standing in. This is a legit stand-in as far as CDEC concerned. And they're going to go last pick Medusa. So they do want to go late game. They are going to be putting either Veno or Tite onto the support role. And TongFu say, well, let's try and punish this. Let's pick an Abaddon. Let's get aggressive. Let's try and shut down some of the farm of these heroes. Maybe see some kind of offensive trialing from the Abaddon, the Axe. Maybe even just a dual lane with those two. Give Jakiro some farm, because Jakiro with farm, he could be a key hero if you want to try and push down towers, take objectives nice and early on using this hero. So we'll see what exactly they have in mind here. I think CDEC almost need to put the Medusa mid this game because of the nature of the Axe kind of offensive dual lane or tri lane. I think it's just way too difficult trying it anyway else, and we'll see if that's what they have in mind here. It seems maybe going to go to the safe lane. Oh my god, I hate casting CDEC because of this guy's name. I don't even mean to, but I use the word maybe a lot, apparently. That's the one thing I realized casting CDEC is I overuse the word maybe, because I don't want to commit. If I'm wrong, it's like, well, I said maybe. So rather than commit to something for sure, I say maybe, and then when I cast this team, it's like, well, I just muddle my words in. Who knows if I'm talking about the player or the word itself, but hopefully we won't get too confused here. TongFu going to be on the Radiant side. Game 1 of our 2-game series. It's going to be Kabu the former TongFu player, in fact. Well, we're talking about former TongFu player, still TongFu player. The only TongFu player who's been around TongFu for so long. Man, I'm off to a flying start here as Kabu, of former TongFu glory. He was on the team when they were considered a top tier 1 team in China. No longer quite the case, but still a team with a lot of promise here. We'll see Xingqiu on the Jakiro, LPC playing the Abaddon, Viper in the hands of UUU9, the Chinese search engine, apparently a pretty popular Chinese search engine. And then we have Qian actually on the safe lane axe for TongFu. For the Dire side, it's going to be Team CDEC with maybe on the Ember Spirit, Garda on the Wisp, Q playing the Venomancer, Tide in the hands of their Chinese Cactus player. And then finally, it's going to be Mikasa going mid on that Medusa. So, we'll see what the plan is going to be here. Bounty room bottom secured by the Ember. Jakiro going to secure the top one. It looks like it is the offensive trial lane, but Axe is going 1v1 against the Tide, so they decide here's the better matchup there. Could have done the Jakiro. I like Jakiro against Tide, but having a ranged hero up top just gives them that extra bit of harass here. You don't have to rely on the Axe spins too much, although, I mean, the amount of pressure Axe can put in an offensive trial lane is pretty impressive, but this gets Axe more solo XP. It gets it to trade off. Do you want the Axe solo XP, the Jakiro solo XP, and who's going to be able to do better in that offensive trial. The other thing is, what happens if something like this happens? A dual lane's going to be coming bottom, Veno tied against the Axe, and this is where maybe Jakiro would have matched up better against the dual lane. Qian going to have to play pretty defensively. Does have a lot of regen, but not going to be a fun lane for him. Mid lane, we've got Viper versus Medusa. And Viper, most 1v1s are Viper favored. And this one, not much exception. Top lane will be the Io Ember Spirit against the tri lane. And bit surprised they're not pairing the Abaddon and the Axe. It seemed when I saw the Abaddon, you've got an Axe, it definitely is the first thing that strikes out to me. It's like, okay, they're going to be putting the Aphotic Shield on the Axe, and he's just going to be Ramboing in, looking for kills. But they do keep the two separate for now. Probably expect to see Abaddon pick up a TP. He's already got the TP for if the Axe gets ganked, if Viper gets ganked, if he needs to go TPing to a lane for backup. So, we'll see how things develop here in the laning stage. It is going to be early pulls coming out for LPC up top. Just try to deny as much XP from the Wisp Ember Spirit as possible. Speaking of Wisp, no bottle rush for Garda, so he's not going to be going for that early kind of... Well, I'm not even sure if it's really a supportive type item. If anything, this is more supportive, because it meant he could buy sentries, he could buy a lot of things to help out in this dual lane versus trial lane. Although even with the sentries, the pull has been blocked, and we'll see if he goes for a D-ward here. Does have a sentry himself, but if he goes to D-ward this, I imagine TongFu will be looking to poke their heads in to give him some problems. And oh, sentry on sentry, Kabu. Is he going to find this? You betcha. He walks in and he's going to de-ward a freshly planted sentry from Garda. One of the benefits of blocking camps with sentries, if you have the stronger lane, you can just come out on top, as we just saw. He pops down the sentry, and he does not want to... He can't go for the D-ward. It's on this other tree, so he has to go all the way around and put himself in danger, and that's where the tri lane comes in and punishes him. Top lane, Wave of Terror going to come out, and Dual Breath as well, maybe. Going to be taking a bit of harass here. Dodges the stun with a nice sleight of fist here. Some good plays coming out here. The TP's in as well. This looks like a counter kill here. Kabu trapped under the tower, gets shielded up. That's going to get rid of some of the slows here. Maybe now on the back foot, and looks like CDEC will not get the counter kill they were after. A well-timed Aphotic Shield. Looked like a dead Kabu, but he finds a way to keep himself alive and kicking for now. Still, you can see the pressure coming out of this tri lane here. Heads up play from Q, having the TP to help out the Ember Spirit. And he was baiting there. Maybe looked like he was kind of caught in a bad spot there, but that was a pure straight-up bait coming out, as he was like, okay, I'm not going to hide in the trees above the tower. I'm going to stay right here. I've got the tether from behind from the Wisp, and I've got the TP in from the Venomancer. So they used the fact they had that information to... well, they had those items to try and bait TongFu into the tower, which worked, but they couldn't find the kill. Well, we'll see TongFu's trialing, continue to get pretty good farm up top. Jakiro, 15 CS to his name. Viper in the mid lane with 17. And only 11 to the Axe, who's up against the Tide, which is a tough, kind of tough 1v1 when the Venom was there, especially. So Qian going to get off the call. He's looking for them spins. He's not getting them. Only gets the second spin finally with 2 creeps on him. Would maybe hope for a little bit more. But just doesn't get the spins he was hoping for. Venom going to now swing once more back towards his bottom lane. And Axe already fully HP from a salve, so Venom probably going to wait for the 4-minute rune, and we'll see Kabu go for the 4-minute top rune to secure things up here as pretty... Ooh, tied with the bottle, actually, and I like this. Considering he's kind of in this solo off lane, he's doing well in lane. You can easily go get those runes. It's the alternative to the Arcane Boots, I guess. Generally, you may still see the Arcane Boots with this, but Just gives you the HP and mana regen. And considering you're taking a lot of damage from an aggressive axe, the HP regen actually helps out quite a lot to sustain him in this lane. And hey, a haste or an invis rune, who knows what you can make happen with that once you hit level 6. And DD Kabu is just prowling around the jungle. I'm wondering what... Wisp is top lane. Maybe he hasn't seen the Wisp and he's looking for Mr. Gada. And hoping they can maybe find a kill. But he's going to swing all the way around mid lane. Mikasa now going to be bottle crowing here. And if he pokes too far forward, Viper does have 2 points in the poison attack. And the stun will be coming out as well. But I don't see this kill working yet. Creep wave comes in and he was on the high ground. So U9 would have been attacking uphill unless he had some perfect RNG, and even with every attack hitting, I think Mikasa was easily close enough to his tower. Has 2 points in the mana shield as well, so that was just not a feasible kill. Xingqiu underneath the tower. We'll start taking some tower proxy. It gets healed up from behind, and he's got Trenkle's Bassi, second Sage's Mask, so he's going to be going the Yules with the Bassi. Normally you see the Bassi broken down. Mikasa at mid, going to lose all his mana. Also a TP from the Venom, and Kabu says, I'm out of here, get me out! Ooh, 50 HP. The instant TP ended up being the right option there, and it looks good because Mikasa gets down low HP, low mana, but he's bottle crowing. His bottle's just about to get back to the lane, and with that he can shoot through all the charges and hope to get a 6-minute rune. Even without a 6-minute rune, he just bottle crows again if he really needs to. God, this top lane's fun to watch. Kian trying to do all he can here, but I think quickly realizes, this ain't working so well. And Mikasa actually still getting harassed pretty heavily, so even though he's healing back up, it's got to the point where Viper has enough levels. Actually used the Viper strike there. Jeez, this is some aggressive play coming out from the Viper. Did not see that one, but he did not get that close to killing off Mikasa at mid. As for bottom lane, we will see the rune claim. So Mikasa going to be aided there. Tide making sure he gets that rune. Probably want to bottle himself, but you've got to do what's best for the team sometimes. And we'll see this top lane, Jakiro, hit level 5 now, so the pressure on the tower just going to keep on increasing here. It's first blood bottom lane, that's the Tide going down, and our first kill of the Dota 2 Asia qualifiers gets missed by yours truly. As we'll see CDEC continue what they can at top lane, maybe only with 9 CS here on the Ember Spirit. And TongFu picking up a first blood. They're getting pretty good levels on their supports and across the board, farming in all 3 lanes, and you look at the Ember Spirit, he's struggling. That's a worrying concern, not to mention this top tier 1 tower. Pretty hefty damage here. The damage on the Liquid Fire did get reduced, but still have the attack speed slow here. Xingqiu now going to get Ravaged. Where's the Aphotic Shield? He had to avoid the Ravage is the problem. Now he gets shielded up. The Jewel Breath comes out. The heals as well. Xingqiu still alive for now. Also baiting with the Magic Stick charges. Perhaps maybe needs another Searing Chains. He's going to get it off. Where's the shield? No, just a missed call for now. Xingqiu still alive. One Anchor Smash will finish him off. And the Abaddon could be going down as well. He shields himself up. Garda on the run now. LPC kept alive with 40 HP. They had to commit a lot to get that Jakiro. But at the same time, Abaddon went through all of his mana just to try to keep him alive. So he's going to actually have to go back to base to heal up as well. And Kabu with the TP in didn't find too much. So it was a costly hold for CDEC as far as what they had to use and go through. But ultimately worthwhile, it feels like. It gets maybe well, it doesn't really get him that much farm because Jakiro is already back and harassing him once more out of the lane. But it keeps just a little bit of pressure off this tower. And at this point, Tide's like, he's looking for that first Ravage. It's not like you need to get a big team fight out off of it, so he'll take what he can. And Viper at mid, still farming well. 41 CS to the 29 of the Medusa, but if you had to guess like an 8-minute CS, I would have said about 40 to 30, or maybe 40 to 25 here. So I think for Medusa, this is actually pretty good as far as CS goes in the mid lane. As things stand for TongFu, it's going to be commit to the trial lane up top. They're going to keep bringing back all 3 heroes here. Maybe has hit level 6 though. Doesn't have the bottle, which you normally see even on the safe lane Ember Spirit. Because you look at this, he just 5 minutes back to the lane, has half mana, which is actually a bit of an issue. Whisper looked to help him out here. Has got bottle and may even look to just use a charge. Yeah, there we go. Gets maybe back to full mana. That's important, because if he has like 170 mana, he's got 1 Fire Remnant, can't even use a Searing Chains. He needs Searing Chains plus Fire Remnant mana. And we'll see him be supported by Garda and looking to... At this point, you're expecting this tier 1 tower to go down. It's just a matter of when. And if you can delay it as long as possible, that to me is where the small wins are going to come. And there's no Tide Ravage, and that's the the timeline TongFu on. They're looking to get this tower before Tide Ravages back up, but it is back up in 10 seconds time, and a TP is there as well for the Tide. So we could be looking at maybe trying to bait them in once more and go for those counter kills. He's got the gap closer with the Fire Remnant. Tide not going for a Blink, had picked up a Headdress, so we'll be going for the mech for the team. And speaking of Blink Daggers, Kian getting very, very close to his on the axe. Kian, though, if he leaves his lane, these Plague Wards are just going to pressure the tower down, though. This is where your support Venomancer can transition into this annoying kind of just sit in one lane, do whatever you want, and keep Axe kind of here. He's got his Blink, and I think you do go for that TP kill, and then get a kill, and then one of your teammates comes to this bottom lane. It's still a full HP tier 1 bottom tower, so from that point of view, Veno's still just chipping and poking. He's only got level 3 Plague Wards, even level 4. Maybe at top now, the tower goes down, and they're looking for the kill as well. Fire is there for the escape, and it looks like they're not going to chase. They don't know where Tide is on the map. He's also got an Invis rune. It was spotted by the Radiant Observer, and I think his TP was maybe even spotted as well. Not 100% sure on that one. They seem to have a pretty good idea they need to get the hell out of this one. With Tide coming in, he's got Invis Guard. He's going to Ravage. Okay, there we go. Gets one kill. Can you find some more here? Karbu going to be able to get, maybe it's a dunk number 1. Can you get a second here? The Tide in a kind of a tough spot here. There's a second dunk. Kian's ready to go. Just needs to get him blown off. The Ice Path's going to miss. Kian still chasing, still looking for that damage. He's just not doing enough here. There we go. Finally gets off the call. Has mana for the Culling Blade. Here we go. Give him the chop. And it's 2 kills for Kian. The TP rotation with the Blink Dagger gets TongFu 2-for-1 trade. They only lose their Abaddon. And that is a nice little victory for them. And then immediately they TP 1 down bottom. It's the Abaddon who respawns, says, okay, we TP Axe, we get those kills. Now we've got a bottom lane problem. This Veno's been sitting in this lane, starting to chip away at our tower. We've got to rotate. We've got to deal with his push. And they do so. They take a small amount of damage on the tower. Do have to worry about this maybe Ember Spirit coming in. And coming in hot, looking for some kills here. LPC's level 6 though, and Abaddon on the front line's not really a target you can go for. Well, more heroes rotating. Even Mikasa on this Medusa. Phase Aquila bottle. Not exactly the most potent fighting items, but he's just naturally tanky with the Mana Shield. Also the Mystic Snake, a pretty good damage dealing item, but here we go. TongFu, they're not done. Kian with Blink now picks up a Bracer and Magic Wand. He wants more action in this bottom lane. Maybe going to go scouting in, and he could get called here. This is a tough spot to be in. Can they chain the stuns here? They've got an Ice Path. Yep, the stun not even needed from the Vengeful Spirit. They get 1 kill and get the movement speed. But hey, where's that movement speed's not taking you anywhere. The rest of CDEC have already backed the hell off, and it's maybe just getting caught out by himself. Had the Fire in by the bottom rune. This is what he was hoping to go for. But the Blink call from the Axe locked him in place, and they burst him down with a nice coordinated chain stun. Tide getting close to completing his mech, but without the Blink, this gets hard to just go in and get those Ravages off. Hero just going to keep chipping and poking at the tower using that Liquid Fire, and they're not taking that much damage because of the attack speed slow. While the damage from the Liquid Fire is reduced, the attack speed slow is still exactly the same, so when you're pushing these towers, the big thing is that it still reduces the tower damage. You can go dive in towers and it hits very slow. Jakiro with 10 armor even doesn't mind taking a tower shot or 2. This tower definitely going down on this push. 10 seconds on Ravage. He would love to have it now if they want to try to take the fight, but this tower's dead before that happens. And Viper, U9 with a mech. Now going to have money for a Treads, as well as the Wand and Aquila already complete. So he is going to be on about 1250, 1300 HP once he gets those Strength Treads. He's going to now make his way towards the mid lane. Mikasa there. 1k on him. And Mikasa's going to have to just get whatever cost-effective early games items he can. Normally we do see these Chinese teams going for the point booster as their first item to build towards the Skadi. Just such valuable, cost-effective stats with mana and HP. Ravager bottom lane, they go in, the relocate from Garda, and maybe they want Xingqiu. Abaddon was close, just not close enough. Blink Call now comes in from the Axe, but it's going to be a relocate out in 2 seconds, and they're not going to get either of those 2 heroes, and can't really chase because of the Plague Wards cancelling the blink of Kian. Now towards the mid lane. They've taken 2 tier 1 towers, probably looking for that 3rd one mid. Seems like with Ravage on cooldown, this is to me TongFu's like, they get constant timing windows where Ravage on cooldown, let's take a tower. And then Ravage comes back up, they lose a kill or two, and then they go for another tower. And so far, the Ravages have just been getting solo kills, which is good news for TongFu. At the same time for CDEC, it's not like they've been bad Ravages, it's just they're getting whatever they can get. There's been very little presented to them, and because of how tanky TongFu's lineup is with Viper and Axe, Jakiro, 3 very tanky core heroes, and Abaddon support, who's just, I mean, he's got borrowed time. You can't actually burst him down. Not to mention he keeps those tanky core heroes alive longer. So from that point of view, I feel like they're doing the right thing. Stone Gaze, is it going to be cast here? Taking heavy damage here. The Blink Call now coming into play as well. It still has the 200 mana. Now he gets below the mana threshold. Once you lose that mana, without casting Stone Gaze, you're in trouble. Kian on a Mega Kill Streak has a lot of movement speed from that call. And he's looking to get tied as well. Ravage not up, and this is going to be the second Culling Blade. The double dumps in the mid lane, and they're going to look to get this tier 1 tower as well. You're going to keep coming in with that Liquid Fire, even with a Plague Ward wall here. TongFu are just kind of shrugging this one off and not too worried about it. The trade does come top lane. Maybe gets a tier 1 top tower, and TongFu still looking good here. They're going to be up 6 kills to 3, get their 3rd tower of the game, and Jakiro, he's mostly finished his Yule Scepter now. They get that nice little initiation. Can set up on a lot of heroes now. Viper, 1k gold, so we'll see where he goes. Either typically BKB or Acceptor, one or the other. Sometimes we do see a bit more lately the Manta style builds. Like I think it's Ferrari who I've seen do a few just Yash into Manta style rushes. But you do have mana problems with considering you went for the Mech. I think it was more like going for an Ags into Manta style, but I guess if you keep your wand on and you have the burst mana heal from that, you could maybe sustain the Manta style with the Mech. Nice to get out of the chains, but I think against chains and tide, this is probably a BKB game. PC at bottom can be the one juking out with the Medusa for a little bit. And there we go. There's that Medusa point booster. And the Abaddon. LPC getting a lot of levels here, and even some farm. Treads, Urn, Wand. That's, all things considered, a pretty farmed Abaddon. I guess he is their full position support with Kabu playing the hard support. Gonna smoke up his team, and even Kabu though, just brace a wand, 60 minutes in. This is the bonus of getting all these early tier 1 towers. It's not as bad as it was during the TI4 era where we saw Team Snowball out of control off of the gold, but Tide, Blink Call is there. This was a smoke game too. He did knock it out in time. Has got a Ravage as well as a Mech. Can they burst him down in time? Gets swapped back, and we'll see if he goes for the Ravage or not. He's considering this one. Will end up going for a Catches 2 with the Venom Ultimate. There's going to be a relocating as well. This is not the start TongFu were hoping for. They couldn't build the Tide quick enough. Just 2 damn taking. Stone Gaze is going to clip 2 as well. They can't do any nuke damage, but the right clicks adding up. Triple fire when it comes through. Doesn't actually do damage to some of them because of the Stone Gaze, and maybe now getting turned around on the Abaddon in that borrowed time. It's an Axe buyback as well. Can Axe get to the fight though? Doesn't look like it, but even so, the Viper is just wreaking havoc. One more right click, brings down the Tide. A 2-for-2 trade with a buyback coming out from the Axe, and well, it's a good fight, I'd say, all in all for TongFu, considering how badly it started with that Ravage. Why you no give me teamfight recap? Perfect World servers do not want you guys to know what happened in that fight, but I think we saw it, yeah, 2-for-2. It looked bad. TongFu were fighting 3v5, but without Ravage, without Stone Gaze, they win that 3v5. Viper, Abaddon, Jakiro. Such good heroes in like a long drawn-out fight. The Ice Path, the Liquid Fire, just negating so much of CDEC's damage. Viper is just beasting right now. Now picks up a point booster. And they're going to get to work on this tier 2 mid tower. Here comes TongFu. Blink Call ready. Just catches the one on the Venomancer, but this is still a nice little kill if they can get it. Doesn't get the dunk, and now that goes on cooldown for over a minute. TPM from Medusa, who still doesn't have Stone Gaze. It looks like TongFu may need to back off. Viper's low on HP and mana, but he's got the support from the Abaddon. They want the Titan. No worry of a Ravage. The Mech has already been used as well, and TongFu find a second kill here. They're just overrunning CDEC. The walls are just being mounted right now as TongFu can't really be kept back. The Urn's keeping everyone healed up. There's a Mech in a couple of, 15 seconds as well. There's Urn charges, there's Wand charges. Here's going to be a Yules into an Ice Path. Medusa has got Stone Gaze, but going to lose the mana for it. Can't actually use it anymore. Kian got to blink in onto the IO. No dunk available, unfortunately, after that missed dunk, and he'll get the chase down anyways. Medusa also died in the end to the Viper, so this is going awfully for CDEC. All TongFu needs is like some mana boots maybe to help sustain this push, but even without the mana boots, 0 mana boots, they're just constantly healthy. None of their heroes are that mana intensive. The Viper we've seen on absolutely no mana for a long time, but it's just the magic wands, the Urn charges, the Abaddon. Fighting constantly with an Abaddon on your team is proven to be, well, a recipe for success. Yeah, now Point Booster picked up just 1,300 gold away from an Aghanim Scepter. Game 1 looking really hot here for TongFu. They're coming out flying in the Dota 2 Asia Championships. And CDEC, off of some tough losses at the D2L LAN Finals in Vegas, finishing in last place of the teams qualified for the LAN Finals, but losing 2-1 to EG. They're not bounced back, be it jet lag, be it whatever it may be. Maybe just feeling a bit demoralized. And this team was on a tear for a little while, before leading, like during the D2L group stage, getting them to Vegas. During these other tournaments as well, such as the ECL group stage, I-League as well. They look strong, but right now it's not starting well for them here in Game 1. Definitely one of the teams that were kind of favored to finish top 4, top 6 and make it to the Dota 2 Asia Championship LAN Finals, but I would not have put TongFu in that mix. Well, CDEC going to have to just look to fall back on some Turtle Dota perhaps. They've got the Medusa, they've got the Ember Spirit. Ember going straight for a Battle Fury, no drums. No Manta style that we see against, well, the Silence heroes, which there aren't any of on the Radiant side, and well, this is a TongFu squad that I've just not seen in some time, and they're looking better than ever. Come on, someone get that neutral. There we go. Viper leading the charge top lane, and this is his Ag Scepter. He's going to have it flying out on the Courier and 3 gold. There we go. Ag Scepter coming his way. They're going to be giving up this tier 1 bottom tower, but they're taking bigger objectives elsewhere. It's going to be a tier 2 top, and do they consider going for the high ground here? They've got the Ag Scepter for the Viper coming. They should at least poke at it to force TP's back. I don't see any way CDEC can get this tier 2 bottom tower if there's pressure at top lane. You pressure the high ground and this push at bottom. Maybe everyone except like one hero has to TP back, but we'll see some pretty big damage done. We've got Liquid Fire, Viper just right-clicking from the low ground. He's about to have that Ag Scepter show up, and Tide does not have the blink, so there's no threat of a surprise blink initiation. Assuming they've seen this Tide recently, and ZinQ just needs to hit these Liquid Fires. Oh, the misses. This is a Jakira's worst nightmare. Sieging a tower and missing the Liquid Fires. Sure, you can walk up to the high ground and use it so you don't miss, but you put yourself in a dangerous position. You get caught up by Searing Chains, a fight starts, and you don't know what's going to happen there. You want to cast it from the low ground, and you just have to hope you don't miss. This time it's going to land. There we go. All skill. And, the push will continue. They're just slowly chipping and clawing away at this tower. And for CDEC, this is nails in a chalkboard for them. They are not having a fun time as far as what they're seeing and hearing. Sure, this tower's still standing, but it's just constant poke damage, and they're not doing anything in return. They're not farming elsewhere on the map. They're not pushing out the lanes, and they're not really posing any threat to this TongFu team with complete map control right now. Courier going to come back, point booster that for your Venomancer, who is working on the Ag Scepter. Been given that lane earlier to farm, does have a decent amount of farm, but in preparation, Jakira's picked up a Hood. He's going to be going for the Pipe for the team, so they're going to have Pipe Mech. Axe is going to have his Aghanim Scepter and 50 gold, and could see them start looking to take objectives. Speaking of other teamfight items, where's that Vlad Zabadon? Oh yeah, coming soon. He's got it back at base, I believe, and Vlad's Medallion. They're going to be going for the Roshan with this, I feel. Before they go high ground, they've got Venge, Wave of Terror, they've got the Medallion, so it should be a pretty straightforward Roshan take. And Kabu even maxing the Wave of Terror Vengeance Aura. I really like that this game. They're getting kills not off of his Magic Missile. It's kind of been the Axe with the lockdown, the Blink Calls, and Venge going for just the damage amplification. The Vengeance Aura with the Vlads and Wave of Terror. Great for Roshan, but I think more importantly, just great for pushing high ground. Medusa kind of needs this Skadi, it feels like, before the next push comes in. If they Blink Call Medusa and you lose the mana for the Stone Gaze, Medusa's kind of been almost getting caught out a few times here. Oh god, I gets hit by the call. Is there enough follow-up damage as he yules into Ice Path and Macropire and gives him the dunk. Well, TongFu find themselves another kill, and I think this is the move towards Roshan now. There's your Vlads, and they've got all the items they need. The Ag Scepter on the Axe as well, so has got that 6-second cooldown, but realistically this Axe Culling Blade should have a 0-second cooldown with the nature of it not going on cooldown when you hit a Culling Blade. But every now and then you will miss one. Viper from the high ground, I'm going to throw a Viper Strike on Roshan just to help things out, and TongFu. Fairly fast Roshan, not the fastest of Roshans, but very safe and secure. No worry, no damage being done from Roshan. This slows from the Liquid Fire, the Viper Strike. And then you've got the constant heals as well. So they're going to push out lanes first. They're not going to go straight for the high ground here. U9 is playing things safe as he's going to go towards the top lane and get up to 2k gold. Maybe picks up something like a Yasha to work on the Manta style I mentioned. And BKB against the Tide is pretty nice, but I feel like the damage output you can just offer from a Manta style, and he's so tanky as well. If you want to go tanky, you could even go Heart of Tarask. As far as good sieging items go, often you see teams pick up Heart of Tarask for that high ground siege, because you can just poke at the tower, lose a third of your HP, and then just back off, wait to heal, and then go for round 2. As things stand right now for TongFu, it is kind of a slow-paced steamroll. I mean, the two words maybe not as obviously going together as you'd think, but it's CDEC just, they're not showing any resistance. That's where the steamroll's happening. There's just TongFu taking whatever they go for. It is slow-paced in the sense they are being very methodical about it. They take the Roshan, then go back to push their lanes. They're not just going to pick Roshan and then go barreling down one lane. They are looking to make sure they give CDEC as little as possible. Maybe still looking to try find what farm he can at top, and he's actually got decent farm. Battle Fury, 2k gold, so he can buy the Crystallis as well, depending if he wants to value the buyback, but at some point I feel you're using buybacks to hold the high ground, then you're in trouble. Although, for a lineup like this, you may have to, and that's where the Ember Spirit may have to just be kind of throwing away his life for the cause. Gian just going to position himself such that no one can really defend this tier 2 tower, and he's got the Aegis. Interesting to give it to him. I guess Jakiro or Viper the other choice. If you want Jakiro going high ground using the Liquid Fire on the tower, he'd maybe be a decent option. But Axe is just going to be going Blink calling in at the first opportunity, it feels like. Well, bottom lane. It's a full HP tower, but not for long. Ice Path going to catch Mikasa on the TP in. There's your Blink call. Tide forward. He's blinked in. He did not Ravage just yet. The Macropire now doing some decent damage. He's going to miss the Culling Blade. This is where the Axe Scepter does work in his favor, though. It's going to be back up in 2 seconds' time. Has another call. Goes on the Tide. There's a Wave of Terror as well. Going to amplify that physical damage. And they're just, meanwhile, working on the tower. Axe is just creating space for his team to bring down this tier 3. Kian keeping the Tide out. No Blink for you with the Battle Hunger, and going to force out a Gush. The problem is Axe right now has this Aegis. You can't even go on the Axe. If you commit too much for this, you just lose the fight straight up. Problem is you're losing your Raxes here as well. U9 going to now use the mech here. LPC in a really nice position on the sidelines as well. And the Stone Gaze only catches out the Axe, and Axe is still okay. Abaddon not going to use any heals here. He's actually saving his mana. Kian saying, just let me die. There we go. Some heals come out. There's the Venomous Gale, and Tide still looking for that Ravage. They're going to lose Ravage before he even get a chance to use it. He can't blink in. Needs some kind of like a smoke wraparound play. Axe no longer has the Aegis, and this is it. Tide's out of mana though. This was meant to be the chance to Ravage with Axe not having Aegis, but they get Rax, they get out. Abaddon going to put the borrowed Tide. Another Blink call in. Q on the Q on the Venomancer gets Axe. And now Tide, he's going to just use Ravage before he goes down, it looks like. Wisp tethering, trying to heal him up as much as possible. The Axe looking for another dunk, gets swapped out. Great play from the Vengeful Spirit. Kian still low. He's trying to be kept alive by the Abaddon. Not going to happen. Here comes Maybe. Has mana for another Searing Chains in 2 seconds. LPC loses the Aphotic Shield and now going to get caught by the Searing Chains. They lose 3, but they take Rax here. And all in all, a good fight for TongFu. Can they catch any more here? Nothing to cancel the TP of the Viper. Xingqiu on the run. He's got Tranquil Boots and Yule Scepter. He's pretty damn fast with 420 movement speed. He's going to blaze it on out of there, and maybe, even with the tether, only at 417. Going to fire on it forward. Has a Sleight of Fist Searing Chains in a second, and Xingqiu needs a TP. Yeah, there we go. TP after the chains. It's going to be close. 50 HP. Gets out of there. Heads up play from the Jakiro to escape that one, but CDEC still hold, just not their melee Rax. They're still in this game. They get the Skadi on the Medusa, but this game starting to get out of control. As far as next item progression, well, we're going to see Viper actually go for an AC. You want high ground siege? Let's get some extra armor for our team and take away some of the armor of these buildings in your opposing team. The minus armor from Vengeful Spirit, from the Viper AC, is going to start adding up, and got to remember, these counter helixes, physical damage, so does benefit the Axe quite a lot, who has gone back for a Blade Mail now to complement his items. And U9, he's not actually far from the AC with just about 900 gold more to go. So we'll see TongFu. No Aegis anymore, but I'm not sure if that's the biggest of concerns for them. Is this actually... We're going to see a Sanjin Yasha Abaddon. He's going carry mode. He's transitioning. He's a confused little boy, wondering like, which way do I want to go? Am I a support? And he comes out of the closet and says, nope, I'm a real carry this game. LPC's good to go. Well, not yet. He hasn't got his Sanjin Yasha quite online yet. I'm proud of him no matter what he is, as U9 still working. I think waiting for the AC. Could even wait to be safer on the next Roshan, but I think if they can find pickoffs in the meantime, it's going to really help them out here. Not going to find the Tide, who backs off to his own base. And Ember Spirit, he Fire Remnants into them! Oh, he couldn't have known. He was pushing down here and he's like, okay, it's no longer safe. Let's Fire Remnant back. And he Fire Remnants into a 3-hero smoke gang. Has got buyback, that's the important thing here, but TongFu, you betcha they're going to try force that one out. To the high ground we go. They're taking one melee racks at bottom. Ember's going to have to use that buyback, and just a matter of the timing for it. You want to wait maybe for the Blink Ravage to hit and then time the Ember Spirit buyback with that. You don't just want to use the buyback and then get nothing out of it. You're really looking for a good team fight where you can start getting, basically make up for the lost gold and some if you use this Ember Spirit buyback. Problem is, U9 on the front lines is not really a hero you can easily engage into, and you want to find that big Ravage. Not to mention, they're actually stalling pretty well. They maybe don't need to use the buyback. Has not been forced out. TongFu, I guess, reasonably not overcommitting to the high ground here. Mikasa now on the front lines. Not going to Stone Gaze just yet. Has got the Wisp back up, and here comes your Ember Spirit. So no buyback needed, and TongFu will be repelled once more. Well, AC now complete, and with that, I don't know if that does signal they want to keep on sieging and poking at this tower. I don't think they're going to be looking to... Nothing like we saw at bottom lane, where Axe is behind enemy lines, going behind their racks to create space and distract, because he had that Aegis. And looking back, the TongFu strategy was very sound. It makes total sense given the Axe the Aegis if they were going to play that high ground siege as they just did. Now here, the AC only just now arriving, but this is going to cause even more problems. Roshan respawn has not been revealed just yet. Sometime in the next 3 minutes though, or 3 and a bit minutes. TongFu just not going to leave this entrance to the CDEC base, and as a result, CDEC, they can't really go out and farm too much. Maybe he's trying to do what he can at the top lane. Has got his Crystallis. I feel like he needs to buy the Daedalus once he can. Buyback be damned, he's just got to have as much damage as possible, because the Cat's on this Medusa, he's not a carry per se, he's just kind of tanking up on the front lines. He will do damage bit by bit, but he's just poking and prodding. TongFu is going to just keep the pressure on, and down to below 400 HP goes the tower. Medusa's picked up something. It's going to be just a casual Yasha, so Mikasa getting what he can, saying, look, I'm planning not to die here. That's on you, Wisp. If I get fully initiated on, you've got to get that relocate out, or at least tether overcharge me to keep me alive and popping. And CDEC just can't leave their own base. They do have a ward near the Roshan pit, and it's a fast Roshan respawn too. That is the other concern. If TongFu see that, they're going to be going for a rinse repeat of their previous plan, with Axe taking the Aegis, I imagine, and just distracting CDEC while the rest of the team just focus down the C3 tower. They're going on Xingqiu. Gonna self-heals, has a pipe. There's also Abaddon Sing behind him with some heals, and Tide unfortunately cannot really blink forward as a result of the Viper poison damage, and CDEC not enjoying their time in their own base. They want to see some new sights here. They want to get out and see the world, but right now, Mum's not letting them out. They've been grounded, and it's just a matter of time. Maybe when TongFu go for that Roshan. I don't know if they've scouted just yet. Venge is nearby. They are pinging it, so Hal will show them that it is up, and there we go. TongFu know when. We'll give CDEC about a minute of breathing room while they take this Roshan and then regroup for the next push. And I don't think CDEC can really... I mean, this is not exactly a super fast Roshan, but fighting into the Rosh pit is just a gamble. The question is it a gamble that CDEC feel they have to take? Oh, it's going down a bit faster than CDEC would like if they wanted to try and contest this. And CDEC are making their move. They're smoked up, but it's too late. Age is picked up by the Axe. Now CDEC have a decision to make. They're not going to commit. They even smoked and everything. They wanted to try contest it, but ended up being a pretty fast Roshan taken. TongFu going to put CDEC in an even tougher position. There's your Daedalus, so maybe not going to hold out for the buyback, and I think with good reason. He is their main source of damage with his Sleight of Fist on the high ground defense. Veno would love an Aghanim Scepter as well. Almost wonder if it's at that point where you start thinking about selling items. Break down your Arcane Boots, sell off your Energy Booster. Would still need a bit more than that. Tide. Uh-oh, he actually blinked into this one. There's going to be a Avenge with a Howl. The stun there as well. Gets dunked as well. Tide going to just bait out some spells for his buyback. Hopefully they overcommit, but they're going to pipe and back off. TongFu. Well, in CDEC, they had an idea to use the Tide to try to get them to overcommit some big spells, but at the end of the day, none of those were really big spells. All ultimates, apart from the Macropie, still online. Got the Plague Ward wall going, and this will be annoying to deal with as far as pushing high ground goes. But TongFu going to keep missing those liquid fires, those high ground liquid fires. They're plaguing him. Nice Ravage, catches 3, but here comes your Axe. Doesn't have blink just yet. The poison damage from the Venomancer Plague Wards to just keep continuing to hit him and prevent that blink. But guess what? No damage was dealt. TongFu, the sustain is real. They back off. They earn. They've got mech if they need it. They've already used it actually, and well, let's go again. The Plague Ward wall is mostly actually gone. They're going to use up the Medusa. Ice Path as well. Stone Gate is available, as is the Wisp. Tether. No relocate for a little bit. And we'll see U9. Going to pop his wands here on the front lines. He's being, well, bothered by the Medusa, but he's got 34 armor right now. And he is really hard to deal with. Bottom lane. Axe has gone in, found the Ember Spirit, and that is a dead Ember Spirit with no buyback. Solo kill from Kian. The constant push on mid, and Axe is suddenly like, I think I've got an idea. Let's go in this bottom lane, catch out whoever's defending. There's going to be a swap back on Mikasa. Gets the Stone Gaze off, though. And as a result, TongFu probably not going to get this kill right away. The relocate just back a little bit. Nice little play from Garda. He wants to keep the Medusa in this fight. Has got some bottle charges. Actually runs out now. Can't heal him up anymore. And Kian with an Aegis. He'd love to be focused down. He doesn't mind taking too much damage. And TongFu still with 5 alive. This can't be dealt with. LPC on the front lines. He's got the borrowed time. Actually procs it without taking any damage during it, so won't get that heal up, but both bottom and now mid lane of Rax in trouble. The rain track still standing, blinking from the Tide, but 60 seconds without a Ravage here, and that seems to spell doom for CDEC, who have no way of killing anyone. It's just not possible. Too much sustain. Kian's now got himself up to 5,000 gold, and he's not the only one with a buttload of gold. U9 with 3k. LPC. Is he there yet? Oh, he's not there yet. Hasn't got his Sanj and Yasha. Thought he maybe had it. He's got just the Sanj. Could be going for the Halberd. What do you need Halberd for? Medusa's not... If this is like a 3 or 4 slot Medusa, Halberd's nice, but I don't think disabling the Medusa attack is that important right now. I want to see some Sanj and Yasha action. As he'll head back to base here. And TongFu, they definitely ate their porridge this morning. As CDEC have taken very little this game. Looking at the graph, it's up to almost a 14,000, 15,000 net worth lead. The experience, over 10,000 as well. And what does the Axe decide to go for? Nothing. He decided to do the Mushi thing, which is just save up. You got to get 5 digits. 5-digit gold is where it's at. That's where all the cool kids go. And he's bought something now. It's going to be a full Heart of Tarrasque. Well, good luck killing this Axe now. I mean, good luck killing him before, and now we're looking at, well, Superman himself. You're going to need some special drugs, some kryptonite to bring this guy down. Chase is on. They've got no Yule Scepter for 12 seconds, and we'll see Axe looking to cut them off from the south as he's going to be looking to swing himself around, and I think they do want to go for this one. Kian gets off the Battlehunger on Medusa. Wisp is waiting for the tether out. Doesn't hit the call. But as to how much that matters, well, I'd say very little. Those spells can be coming back up soon, and Axe is Heart of Tarrasque. He actually hasn't got it just yet. Speaking of Heaven's Halberd, it will be picked up by the Viper, who benefits a lot more from the evasion. He's on the front lines. Abaddon's sitting back and doesn't really get in a position to use the Halberd too often, but I like this from Medusa. Just picks up a Maelstrom. Not an item that you'd normally see, but you need anything to fight with right now and to clear out the wave. And well, it's not exactly amazing damage, but it's better than nothing. This game about to be done and dusted if CDEC don't come up with a miraculous hold, and I just don't see where that miraculous hold is coming from. You've got a Heart of Tarrasque now. There we go. Axe is good to go. Got the Halberd coming for the Viper. That's going to get him up to 2.3, 2.4k HP and add some evasion in there. Well, And the Plague Wall once more is not really going to bother TongFu that much, it feels like. Mikasa's really the one brick wall for them that they have to get through. But we've seen time and time again, this Axe, he's the Hulk. He'll break through any walls that stand in front of him. He's actually looking for those pickoffs in mid lane again. His team is going to 4-man push top, and he's hoping for someone like Ember Spirit to defend mid so that he can maybe get another blink pickoff. Mid-range racks getting poked and prodded at, and the top lane also getting poked and prodded at. This is just constant siege and good old-fashioned slow siege. It's been a while since I've seen a well-executed one with teams generally kind of getting to a point where they have more than enough items just to barrel through like an enemy lane of racks. But this game, very slow-paced poke and prod and very strategical in that CDEC can't do anything. Even with the Daedalus on their Ember Spirit, normally you think, okay, Daedalus battle for your Ember Spirit, you defend high ground, okay, you can't be slow siege, but it's the hero slow siege, it's the Liquid Fire, it's the Viper who's tanky as all hell. Everyone just proving to be too damn durable. And one blink call on this Ember Spirit and the high ground defense is lost. He does have buyback as the mid-range reactor is going to go down. At this point, the focus is going to be on the top lane. A 500 HP tier 3 towers, all that stands between TongFu and Mega Creeps right now. Liquid Fire going to be continually used on this tower, and the cast of the front lines has got some protection here, but the Wisp Tether, the relocate out, tied with a Blink Ravage, but ultimately you're using everything defensively. CDEC are in a position where they can defensively make some plays happen such that they don't die maybe, but getting a kill on anyone is just not looking possible. It ain't happening. Yule's Ice Path, Tide's got no blink for a couple of seconds, and Mikasa on the front lines, well, he's still alive for now, but his base is being whittled away at. At this point for TongFu, it's not even about kills. It's about the effigies. Tide's like, no guys, I've lost my effigy. We've got to get back and defend. Anything but the effigies. And here comes that Axe for mid lane. Unfortunately, can't ever really get a blink off because of these Venomancer Plague Wards. Where's that Shadow Blade at Axe? You just go Shadow Blading past these Plague Wards with those sentries out there, but you know, you never know. I mean, there's no sentries up here. You just go to Shadow Blade through. Find a call through that way. Right now, TongFu, let's see that Axe. I mean, they've just got to engage. At some point, you've got to engage. Mega Creeps is GG. There's no Medusa Rapier. There's no beating Mega Creeps with this CDEC draft right now, with their current farm. And well, the range racks will be the first target with no regen, and Mikasa going to try force him back for now. Tether Overcharge giving him a bit of extra sustain and damage output, but TongFu continuing to break apart this great wall of CDEC. The Venomancer towards the Medusa, well, they're being chipped and cracked away at bit by bit, and there's very little left right now. It's in tatters. 42 minutes in, and CDEC not looking any better now than they did 15-20 minutes ago. The graphs are suggesting, well, things are just as grim for them. Just as dire. Venomancer going to get hit by the Viper Strike, and he's okay for now. U9 actually getting slowed down quite a bit. They'd love to be able to kill off someone like him, but the Aphotic Shield going to get rid of the Searing Chains now. Mikasa, it seems like this may be the fight. They're really pushing forward. Tide trying to find a blink in, but not really able to do so just yet. The Macropire giving him problems. That long-range Aghanim's Macropire not really being used for the damage, just being used to stop the Tide's blink more than anything right now. And guess what? Tier 4 towers are going down. Axe is looking for a blink in from the side. They lost one Tier 4 tower. Meanwhile, top lane, range tracks only taking a little bit. And no, not another effigy. GoDz says, please, think of the children. 2 effigies down, and, well, it looks like there's only 1 to go. Get the siege creep. Please, Tide. Get the siege creep. You gotta save the effigy. Maybe's like, no, don't do it. And now, 3 effigies down. It's definitely GG. Nothing CDEC can do. They've lost the effigies. And, well, Abaddon, he's reached his final form. He's got his Sanjin Yasha. Carry mode activated, as TongFu seem to be, in true slow siege fashion, waiting for Roshan. This time it's Aegis and Cheese, and I'm sure my boy Abaddon wants one of those two. He's saying, look, I'm a carry. Let's make this happen. The smoke is there. They want to contest Roshan, but TongFu seem ready for this one. Tide, Blink Ravage available. He sees some of this. Roshan about to respawn any second now, but hasn't respawned just yet, so TongFu aren't even in the Roshan pit. Mikasa goes in and sees nothing, so they're like, oh, this ain't actually going to work here. Ember Spirit reveals himself. And the Fire Rim is going to scout out Roshan as it respawns, but it's going to be a really tough position for CDEC if they want to try to take a fight here. They're on the back foot. They're going to go back and defend. Tier 4 towers under siege here, getting down to quickly no HP. And these Axe illusions are worrisome. And there we go. Roshan time. They see the Fire Rim. I don't think TongFu care. They're going to make their move and try and come and make a play happen here. This is where you want to sell that little arcane energy booster if you're Venno, just to buy that Aghanim Scepter, but he's got to get that Curry out to do so. At this point, they'll take anything they can get. Roshan just being finished off by 3 or 4 of the heroes while Axe zones them out, and he's in no real threat to his own life. I don't even know if he takes the Aegis. Maybe a cheese. We'll go for the Aegis. Come on, Abaddon. That cheese is all you. No, it's not. 6 Clarity LPC Abaddon. He's playing the medic carry as well. As Mikasa at top is still trying to do all he can to hold the high ground. Has picked up a completed Mjolnir now. So a bit of extra damage, and he's tanking it up. If he puts a Mjolnir in himself, he'll be able to dish out a bit of extra magic damage through that. But how much does a bit of extra damage really do to a 3k HP Axe with Aegis? Viper with 2.3k HP and a cheese. And not to mention the Abaddon just chilling behind, doing his thing. Looks like the end is near for CDEC, at least. At least that's the way it seems. Axe once again in the mid lane. Keeping the pressure on mid, and less so to go for a blink backstab. I think he wants to just keep this T4 tower taking hits, because this T4 tower is getting down to deny range, and, well, you don't really want to deny it, that's for sure, but you're going to be forced to keep 1 or 2 heroes, both bottom as well as mid, to defend the Tier 4, and then you've only got maybe 3 heroes top to defend the racks. Which so far is working. You've got Medusa top with the Plague Ward. We'll see Medusa get initiated on here. Once again, the Yule's Ice Path coming out. They're not going to overcommit to this one. Just throw a casual Viper Strike. And the Macropyre as well coming in, as the Wisp now going to make himself known, and Tier 4 tower down to 120 HP. TongFu looking to redefine the term slow siege right now. As Kian, one chop at a time, wants his Tier 4 tower. He'll get it. Meanwhile, it's the top lane Rax taking a bit of damage here. Mikasa still holding strong for the most part. Axe does lose the Aegis. Can they kill him a second time? Searing Chain's going to catch out too here. In the top lane, it's the Rax that's being sieged. Mikasa as well taking quite a bit of damage here. The Rax is still pretty healthy. Just the range Rax taking about 500-600 damage. Kian going for the throne. It's a kind of a split pushing Raptor to Axe. Kian channeling his inner Admiral Bulldog right now. As top lane range Rax should be the target here. There's no regen on that. There's your Ravage. Catches out too. Xingqiu. He's got the Yule. Stone Gaze now comes into play. The swap out as well. I think this is TongFu maybe looking to back off, but LPC with the ultimate pop, he's going forward. They kill the Venomancer. Kian looking for another Culling Blade if he can find it. Still pretty healthy, and it's going to be a dead Medusa. Buyback immediately used by Mikasa. There's going to be a kill onto Ghana. No one to tether out to, and the Sleight of Fist coming through. They do take out the Abaddon here. One more Sleight of Fist could cause Karbu some problems here. Medusa goes in with the Mjolnir. Karbu's low 20 HP. Going to be brought down. The Tide blinking with an Anchor Smash, and now TongFu finally being repelled back. Kian going to go in, suicide himself, but it's GG. Throne goes down. Too many creeps. I didn't even notice that one. Didn't seem like CDEC noticed it either. They were busy fighting and defending the top lane. Meanwhile, the creeps finished off the job. The split pushing act comes up big with Tier 4 towers down, the throne exposed, and that does it for Game 1. TongFu, victory in 47 minutes. Well, that was impressive stuff. Very disciplined and just very well coordinated. They had a clear game plan, stuck to it, and were willing to let it draw out a bit just to make sure they got the safe win. This is a big upset for TongFu, and we'll see if they can do it once again. We've got a Game 2. This is a 2-game series. CDEC, they want to bounce back. They want to tie things up, but we'll see if they can do it. I'm GoDz from Beyond the Summit. You can follow me on Twitter at BTSGoDz. Stick around. Game 2 coming up after a quick break with our No Monster Cat Friday. Get excited, guys.